Since we're talking about friends, I got a funny story for you. Okay, this one's a beauty. But just in case I say anything, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I am an entertainer. The one, the only ape father on the recliner. Wow! Okay, so anyway, a buddy of mine, we grew up, together. We met each other in high school. Both of us were musicians. He's a drummer, and I'm a piano player. So, we were in bands together. We did shows together. Well, we became very good friends, okay? Best of friends. Matter of fact, this is the guy who introduced me to Jennifer because it was just this one magical night that we were in Bay Ridge and he started picking up her friend who, turns out they got into a relationship for a good number of years, but eventually they broke up. But because he picked up her, Jennifer's friend, I then picked up Jennifer. They were coming out of the Salty Dog in Bay Ridge, and we were coming out of Judge and Jury, and I was walking up, towards 75th Street, 3rd Ave, and they were walking down towards whatever it is, Judge and Jury. I think it was somewhere in the 80s. Anyway, long story short, I owe him my whole life because of this great friend of mine. I have met my wife. I have a family, and it's all because of him. But anyway, he had an alcohol problem. Yes, Dad. When he was younger, I mean, this guy was really off the rocker. He was an alcoholic. So I actually had to be the responsible one. Can you believe it? And I had to be because that's how bad he was. So let me just tell you a funny story. He gets a gig up in this hotel, somewhere, upstate New York. I don't want to mention names. I just don't want to get him in trouble. But so he was the drummer in their big band. So it was a hotel. It was like a hotel resort type of place. So he's playing in the band. And he was making pretty good money. Like we were young, you're talking we got to be like what? If not early 20s, I would say probably even younger, probably 19, 20. He got a gig making like almost $1,000 a week. That's great for a musician, So, he tells me, why don't you come up and visit me? So I drive up to upstate New York. And when I get there, I'm like, just let's call him Joe. That's it. No last name, just Joe. I say, Joe, where's Joe? I asked the security guard. He's like, oh, Joe the drummer? Yeah, Joe the drummer. He's by the pool area. So I'm like, all right. So I walk to the pool. He's like passed out unconscious. He's like lying down, like on those beach chairs we had taken the sun. He's like out unconscious, right? So one of the people that I guess work at the hotel said, listen, you got to get him up. He's got a show. So I'm thinking he's got a show like what, maybe 2-3 hours from now, 4 hours from now. I'm like, when's the show? 15 minutes from now. I'm like, 15 minutes. The guy's collapsed. They're like, you got to get him up, okay? So I'm like, oh my God. This is as soon as I get there. So I'm talking in his ear. I'm like, Joe, you got to get up. He goes, you don't understand, brother. You got a gig in 15 minutes. All of a sudden, like a raging bull, he jumps up and jumps in the pool. For some reason, just jumped in the pool. And he was unconscious. Like, he was like drowning in the pool. Like, you know that movie, Old School, where you had to go save him? Remember when Will Ferrell was all messed up because he got shot, with the, what was it that thing? It was for the animals, the tranquilizer gun. He got shot in the neck. He fell in the pool. So this same situation, only he was drunk. So I jump in the pool. I carry him out. All right. Next thing I know, he gets in a golf cart. There's like a golf cart. He gets in it. And he starts racing. I'm chasing. I'm like, Joe! He's racing, right? He bangs into a brick wall, goes flying, bangs his head. Blood pouring down his head. I'm like, holy cow, So next thing I know, I carry him to his hotel room. I found out where he is. I'm taking care of him. I'm putting, whatever I have, the peroxide. I put a little, whatever they had there, Neosporin, try to help him out. So the big band, I guess the guy who runs the big band, right, the conductor, comes into the hotel room. He's like, we got to get him dressed. I'm like, no, you don't stand something. This guy is drunk. He just took a golf cart, I told him, banged it into a wall. He almost cracked his skull open. He's like, we have no other drummer. People pay big money. We have a packed house. You got to get him in a tuxedo. I'm like, I can't believe this. So there's like 3 or 4 people in there. Like there's the trumpet player, there's the guitar player, the bass player, and the conductor. They're all, taking off his clothes. They're putting on a tux. The guy's unconscious. So we take him, I carry him, and I sit him down at the drums. I put the drumsticks in his hands. Oh, I have so many stories with this guy. It's so funny. So I go sit in the audience, and they had those big red, like those, when you're at a show, and they have those big red curtains, right? So all of a sudden, the red curtains opened up, and you hear, bat, 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 ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our tonight's performance, right? And as he's playing, he collapses. Oh, the whole drums collapse. He knocks the trumpet player, the guitar player off the stage. They close the curtains. They're like, we're having a little technical difficulties. Oh my God. I can give you some, just let me give you a few more. We're in a taxi cab. Once again, this guy's drunk. He had an alcohol problem. He's alcoholic. He's drunk. Okay. So I'm in the back seat with him. I'm like, you're not for nothing. I said, kind of like, it's like feeling hot. I'm in the taxi cab. We're going into Manhattan, right, to go to a bar. He's already drunk, right? So everyone's in the car. There was this guy, we called him Jimmy the Greek. So Jimmy the Greek was in the front. We had Joey in the back with me. I'm like, it's really hot in here. Can we maybe put the air conditioner on? The taxi driver said, no air conditioner. I open the window. So I open the window. It's still hot. I'm like, why is it hot? I noticed that apparently, he was drenched in alcohol. His shoes had alcohol on it because he was throwing up. He was sick. He had alcohol all over his body. He took a cigarette and apparently he threw it down on his shoes. His shoes were on fire. I told the taxi cab. The taxi started going on fire. I'm like, you got to pull over right now, right now. I took him. I'm rolling him. I took his shoes off. Oh, my God. Forget about it. Forget about it. One time, last one. We're cooking, right? In my house. Right. My parents, they were on vacation. So he hung out with me, right? In my house in Brooklyn. And we're making like pasta, and whatever, ziti with the sauce. Neither one of us, we don't know how to cook this. We were like 19. I don't know what the F I'm doing. Throwing the pasta in, I threw the sauce in. I put it on high, the oven, right? Next thing I know, the sauce starts shooting to the wall. He's like, Richie, the freaking house is going to go on fire. I panic, I run out, I get the hose. Don't ask me why I did this. I turn the hose. I start flooding the whole house. I'm blasting it on the walls. He's flooding. It's like, he's like, what are you nuts? Man. Oh, the good times, man. Good times, baby. And that's what we're going to have when AMC has the Moaz. Good times. Just great times enjoying life. AMC to Pluto.